Hooray!
Up next we had a oh no, that wasn't until later. Okay, so up next we had a backstage segment where Rollins is backstage with Kane, and he's upset and he wants something done about Roman Reigns. Kane announces that it's going to be him and Rollins together against Reigns in a 2-on-1 handicap match tonight. Kane says, just like Dean Ambrose, their business with Roman Reigns ends tonight. All right. Up next, and again, this was unfortunately a segment that I was preoccupied for. Brock Lesnar had another sit-down interview, and I really wish I would have seen this because apparently it was amazing because he even mentioned the, and I quote, never give up bullshit, and I just really wish I would have seen this. I'm definitely going to have to go back and try and find it, but for now, John.
Let me just preface this by saying this is exactly why I was okay with Lesnar being our champion. Because I knew we'd get stuff like this.
And let me just take this moment to say, is it just me, or is the WWE really going out of their way to paint Lesnar as cool as hell?
Oh, absolutely. I don't think just cool action. I think they want to really paint him, which, I mean, you could say he is because he had the excursion in UFC, but as a legitimate fighter, as WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah.
You know, like they want to give him that prize fighter aura, and I freaking love it. Because, see, when you do portrayals like this, you can't even throw, at least in my opinion you can't throw a fit and you can't offer, like, criticism towards him working limited dates and stuff, because do you see Floyd Mayweather fight every week? Do you see this guy's stepping the octagon every week? No. So it gives Lesnar that aura that, hey, when he steps in there, stuff's going down. It's important. Makes the WWE Network seem more viable because you just have to pay $10 to see this guy destroy people or potentially be beaten, which is historic in the context of professional wrestling. And yeah, it just works so well. And this promo, he pretty much says, you know, I destroyed you. You know, you talk about that never give up bullshit where you get, but see, the fact is in the real world, you get up and I knock you back down. And then you get back up and I knock you back down again. And you get up again and I knock you back down again. And then I just beat the holy hell out of you. And then he said, you know, I don't know. When you would lie in bed at night and your father would tell you about, you know, living your dreams and never giving up and all that stuff, but this is reality, and I am going to end you. You know, at Night of Champions, I think he even said something along the lines of it will be the last time that you see John Cena. Like, Lesnar pulls no punches here. Heyman even goes as far as say, you know, the only reason that Cena, I guess, is still able to walk and to be present in this and that is that because Lesnar took sympathy on you and decided to end the fight early. And I get where Heyman has come from because I guess it's supposed to be like mocking this and that. I don't really know if I like that choice of words because I never want it even being like implied, even in a mocking way, that Lesnar is capable of sympathy. I want him to be as remorseless as possible.
Yeah.
So I would rather, Heyman said, the only reason that Brock didn't utterly annihilate you is because we didn't want to have to deal with the legal aftermath of the fines or just something like that from WWE for harming their golden egg-laying goose or something like that.
Right.
But, dude, I freaking love it. I think this is going to be great. As much as I love Reigns, I'm really beginning to see that I think – I still believe he can be ready. I'm hoping he will be, though. I could see like he still has a ways to go because the person who unseats Lesnar, it's going to be huge. I mean, WWE has really put their backs into making it significant. And if Reigns is going to be the one who's bequeathed that honor, he's got to really be able to bear it on his back and do it with such dominance and such success that you know it wasn't a mistake. WWE's got to be very careful here because Lesnar is, with how he beat The Undertaker's streak, which I think did the job alone, and then how he manhandled Cena, and I expect him to do it again at Night of Champions.
Yep.
Lesnar's looking unstoppable, so whoever stops him, I mean, how's that going to make them look? So.
Absolutely. I don't know. I think you know what? This all has to do with my theory, so I'm just going to get into that when we talk about the main event. How does that sound?
Absolutely. Yeah, I cannot wait to hear this, dude. So, yeah, let's just roll right on.
All right. Up next, we had Dolph Ziggler and then out comes The Miz, and he announces that he has a stunt double, Damien Mizdow, and this entire segment was flat out glorious. I will go as far as to say, in a non-ironic sense, this was my favorite segment of the night.
And how funny is it again that, and you know what, Ashton, it's funny because ever since you and I have, slowly, and at least for me, a little bit tentatively, given Miz props, because every time he comes out, I think, okay, is tonight going to be the night where I start hating this? Is tonight going to be the night where he stops making it work? And I have to give him credit again. This was a clever use of the gimmick. It was. It was a clever use of the gimmick. And as much as I hate where he is right now, and everybody knows that, everybody who's listened to past episodes of TwitWow knows that, I thought this was a clever use of Damien Sandow and what he's been doing lately. So, yeah, I like the ingenuity exhibited here. So I'm not going to get in the ring with you. I'm a Hollywood A-lister. I mean, Mickey Mouse is asking to take pictures with me. So guys of my stature, we have stunt doubles. And Damien, Mizdow comes out. They have a match while Miz is on commentary. And, it was a typical match. Mizdow got some offenses, drove some knees, did his typical stuff. Ziggler, though, ultimately, Mizdow even got a figure 4 in at one point, so he's even wrestling like The Miz.
And let me point out, his figure 4 was actually a figure 4, not a figure P. And on top of that, not only did he properly execute a figure 4, but afterwards, Dolph Ziggler actually sold the proper leg.
So, kudos to both guys, in short, for being awesome.
Dude, those are two such major pet peeves of mine. I hate it when The Miz locks in that figure P of his, because, now granted, it's still an effective submission, but don't call it a figure 4 when the entire point of it being a figure 4 in the first place is that the guy's legs make the 4 shape. Call it a figure P. If you want to call it a figure P, fine. I'm not going to complain. But if it's a P and you're calling it a figure 4, that's just one of those little annoyances. And the thing that genuinely does get on my nerves, that's just like a little oh, that's kind of annoying, but I can deal with it. When the guy sells the leg that was bent, when you're in the figure 4, the leg that is being bent, that's making the angle part of the 4, doesn't really hurt that bad. The thing that hurts is the fact that your bent leg is literally being used to turn your straight leg inside out. Like, when your knee bends, it's bending the wrong way in the figure 4, and when they lift their hips up, it's pushing it up even further, so your bent leg is literally being used to break your kneecap on the other leg.
Right.
So it just annoys me when people sell the wrong leg, and Dolph Ziggler did a wonderful job tonight of selling the correct leg. So thank you, Dolph, for being competent and knowing,
just amazing,
and knowing your holds. Yeah, exactly. So thank you.
Show off.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. I mean, there it was. Got the zigzag, and then I gotta say, again, it's weird me turning this corner with Miz. I wouldn't go as far as say I'm a fan of the Miz, but I have to give him props. I have to say I'm appreciating the work he's doing right now, and I just loved his reaction to Sandow losing. He wasn't even angry about it.
Fired.
He's fired, and he gives almost this Jim Carrey-esque toothy smile, showing all those pearly whites and stuff. It's ridiculous, and yeah, they just roll on to Night of Champions.
Dude, I've always been one of the biggest detractors of The Miz, but I will be the first person to say that during this run, The Miz has been genuinely entertaining.
I never thought that day would come.
I didn't either, but I think this is just proof that anybody can win us over eventually.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I still, I have one chip left on the table for Mojo Rawley here. I really don't like the feeling of cashing out on anybody, because again, if Miz can make, and you know how critical you and I have been in the history of this podcast on the Miz, and I always felt deservedly so. But here he is now doing some of the best work I think he's ever done. Because you know what? It's still obnoxious, but it's not that overly obnoxious oh, Miz, just stop. It's controlled, I think, is the word I'm looking for. And I think that's what makes it work. I just really approve, and I hope he keeps it up.
It's the
So
right kind of obnoxious.
yeah, and you know what?
It's
I wouldn't even.
It's the I want to see you get your face punched obnoxious, and not the oh my god I need to change the channel obnoxious.
See, that's the thing, because as much as I am so happy for Dolph, and you have no idea the grin I get when I see him walk out with gold around his waist, I would be surprised if Miz doesn't regain the gold before Barrett returns, because I just still have it in my mind that WWE wants to set up a moment where Barrett hits that bullhammer to the moneymaker and the crowd just pops.
Yep.
So, yeah.
I'm sure you're probably right, but that's something that we'll have to wait until Barrett actually gets back in action to see.
Yeah, exactly.